This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. BPL price hikes in the short term, but energy reforms will save BPL $87 million a year. Those headlines are straight ahead as Morning Blend begins.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, 24th of April, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Chester Robards, filling in for Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning in Morning Blend Business, we're having an interesting conversation. I'll update you more on that in just a bit. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. And in the overnight, during the 2024 to 2027 transition period, Bahamas Power and Light's consumers will experience short-term price pressures as capital investments are deployed. That's according to the Davis administration's energy reform strategy that was released yesterday. But the government says in the short term, targeted rate adjustments and fuel optimization are shielding consumers from global price volatility. The 35-page report titled Securing the Bahamas' Energy Future, which Prime Minister Philip Davis tabled in Parliament, says that through private-public partnership, and power purchase agreements, $1.182 billion has been committed to generation, transmission, storage, and smart metering infrastructure across the archipelago. And labeling this government's national energy policy the most comprehensive energy reform initiative in our nation's history, Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis said yesterday that it will have a lasting impact on people and businesses across the Bahamas, lowering costs and promoting economic growth. He said the reforms are expected to generate $87 million in savings for Bahamas Power and Light each year. These savings, he said, quote, will accumulate until BPL's entire $500 million debt is erased. And all of the measures we've discussed will help BPL explore avenues to address their pension obligations. And the government has deemed it necessary to establish a Department of Energy, established through a cabinet paper in November 2024, to oversee the continued development of the electricity sector in the Bahamas by carrying out and updating the country's national energy policy. That's according to the draft updated National Energy Policy 2025 to 2030, tabled in the House of Assembly yesterday. And a mother told a jury on Wednesday that she was shocked when her 5-year-old son told her that a family friend had kissed him on the lips. The mother was testifying at the indecent assault trial of 42-year-old Jose Pepe Thompson. Dale has denied the allegations at his trial before Justice Joyanne Ferguson. Prosecutors allege that Thompson, on 3 consecutive days in November 2020, touched and kissed the boy's genitals and kissed his buttocks. The man said that she learned about the alleged abuse after her son uncharacteristically kissed his father on the lips. She asked why he did that, and he said because someone did it to him. The mother recalled that she was too shocked to ask any further questions. However, she said she questioned her son on November 30th, 2020, and that's when the son revealed that the alleged behavior occurred while both he and Pepe were naked. And the Royal Bahamas Police Force confirmed the Deputy Commissioner of Police Anthony Roll was among a group of individuals who were victims of an armed robbery that occurred on Tuesday at a bank on John F. Kennedy Drive. At the time of the incident, Deputy Commissioner Roll was off duty, dressed in civilian clothing, and not identifiable as a member of the police force to the suspects involved. The RBPF said, quote, using his extensive experience and training, he helped de-escalate the situation and ensured the safety of those present. We commend Deputy Commissioner Roll for his calm and measured response under pressure. His actions reflect the highest standards of professionalism and leadership. The Royal Bahamas Police Force is actively investigating the matter and remains committed to bringing those responsible to justice, ensuring the safety and security of all residents and visitors to the Bahamas. Let's take a look at international news now. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Thursday he's cutting short his official trip to South Africa and returning home after a major Russian strike on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, with missiles and drones killed at least 9 people and injured more than 70. The Russian attack on Kyiv came as weeks of peace negotiations appeared to be coming to a head without an agreement in sight, and hours after U.S. President Donald Trump lashed out at Zelensky, accusing him of prolonging the killing field by refusing to surrender the Russia-occupied Crimea Peninsula as part of a possible deal. Zelensky has repeated many times during more than 3-year war that recognizing occupied territory as Russian is a red line for his country, He noted Thursday that Ukraine had agreed to a U.S. ceasefire proposal 44 days ago as a first step to a negotiated peace, but that Russia's attacks had continued. Let's turn our attention to sports now. And interest in open water swimming is growing in the Bahamas, and that couldn't be more evident than with the level of support shown at the Junior Regional Championships on Wednesday morning. A dozen Bahamian athletes took part in that segment of the 38th Carifta Aquatics Championships, one day after the swimming competition would have been completed. The event was held at 5 Island Park Beach just outside Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago on Wednesday. Team Bahamas' open water head coach Alan Murray said, quote, "I'm pretty happy. Everyone gave a good effort. They took it out hot too, who didn't finish for various reasons, but everyone came out there with the mindset to do their best." And hundreds flocked to the shore of Georgetown, Exuma for the 69th National Family Island Regatta, which is slated for April 22nd to 26th. BTC has once again thrown its support behind the national event as a bronze sponsor. And USA Cricket is delighted to announce the inaugural North American Cup, a historic new tournament set to take place in the Cayman Islands. The tournament is taking place last week and will wrap up on Sunday. The Bahamas is one among 5 national teams competing in the tournament. The others are the United States, Canada, Bermuda, and the host nation, the Cayman Islands. And in sports overseas, in his playoff debut this weekend, Jalen Green admitted that playoff jitters got the best of him. He said, quote, "The lights were bright, the crowd was here, the court looked huge, so I couldn't really get a chance to settle in. My legs were a little shaky." Things were much different Wednesday night. Green made 8 3-pointers and scored 38 points to lead the Houston Rockets to a 109-94 victory over the Golden State Warriors in a testy matchup to even the first-round Western Conference series at 1 game apiece. He said, quote, "I feel like I did a good job of answering back. From the beginning, my whole mindset for today was to go in, be aggressive, and get back to being myself." And Golden State's Jimmy with pelvis contusion, and his status for Game 3 is unknown. Jimmy Butler sustained a pelvis contusion after taking a hard fall on a foul by Amen Thompson late in the first quarter and missed the rest of the Warriors' 109-94 loss to the Houston Rockets on Wednesday night. Coach Steve Kerr said he wasn't sure if Butler would be available for Game 3 on Saturday. He's scheduled to have an MRI exam on Thursday. Kerr said, quote, "Jimmy's always says he's going to be fine, but we have to wait and see with the MRI." That's your look at sports and your look at the overnight. Your first look at weather is up next. And in special warnings, beachgoers, sea bathers, and mariners are strongly encouraged not to enter Atlantic exposed waters due to high surf and a high risk of rip currents. Beachgoers and mariners are urged to take extreme caution along north and east coast waters not directly exposed to the Atlantic, as the risk of rip currents is elevated. The tight pressure gradient between a persistent high pressure system and a trough extending to near to the Greater Antilles, generating fresh to moderate breezes throughout the archipelago. Streaming tropical moisture combined with mid to upper level troughing will increase showers and possible thunderstorms across the central and southeastern islands. Troughing will continue to support showers in the central and southern islands into the weekend. High pressure remains over the area. Fresh to moderate breezes and choppy seas are expected to persist heading into next week. For the northern Bahamas, small craft caution is in effect. Winds easterly at 15 knots, with higher gusts increasing 15 to 20 knots tonight. Seas 3 to 5 feet, increasing to 4 to 6 feet tonight. The Gulf Stream 3 to 5 feet. Swells moderate to large along Atlantic coastlines. Windy with a chance of isolated showers. Your high temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the northwest Bahamas, a less than 10% chance of showers. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 20 knots. Your high temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 73 degrees Fahrenheit. For the central Bahamas, weather partly cloudy and breezy through tomorrow. A 10 to 30% chance of isolated shower or thunderstorm. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 20 knots. Your high temperature 86 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy and breezy tonight, becoming cloudy and breezy tomorrow. A 20 to 30% chance of widely scattered showers or isolated thunderstorms. Winds northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Your high temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75. We'll have an extended forecast for you later on in the show. When we come back, we're discussing some of the day's top stories. That's when Morning Blend continues here on Guardian Radio 96.9, home of fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Know How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Since 1989, Joker's Wild Comedy Club has been the heart of laughter in the Bahamas. But now an era is coming to a close.
Get ready for my guy, comedian Tommy Davis.
Tommy Davidson, along with featured comedian Kurt Green and house comedian Naughty. Don't miss your last chance to experience the magic. May 20th to the 25th, Joker's Wild Comedy Club. Admission $50. Get your tickets now at Atlantis, Bahamas/events.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care. That your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, I'm Chester Robards. Joining me now, the one and only Laverne Gardner. Good morning.
Good morning, Chester.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good morning to all of our listeners this morning.
Yes. My voice is still a little cracky, so I apologize. It was worse yesterday.
No need to apologize. It didn't. Yeah, I was listening yesterday. It was not all of it, but it didn't come across that way. At least I didn't hear the crackiness.
Well, that's good. That's good. I hope nobody else has a cracky voice, but they can join our conversation today as well. You can tweet us at morningblend969. Follow the hashtag morningblend. You can email us at morningblend@nascar.com or text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC. Text us at 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Standard text rates do apply. You can also call us 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can call us toll-free from the Family Islands at 242-300-5720. Also coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. We'll have business news coming up in Morning Blend Business. But first, let's talk about what's in the news. And in the news, Laverne, so the big stuff in the news is a lot about BPL and power
Yeah, yeah.
and possible price hikes in the short term. I mean, one would imagine that is the case. I mean, I don't know because we haven't gotten the details of any of these power purchase agreements.
Okay,
But
that part.
yeah, but a lot of them are worth like millions of dollars, right? And it's hard to understand how power purchase agreements worth millions of dollars in part by private companies. You know, how are they making their money back? At what rate?
Right.
And how is it going to affect
Right.
us? We don't know any of those things. We just know that
No.
they bring in solar power and LNG.
Right.
And that's it.
Well, just as I always say, the devil is in the details.
Right.
And so on the outside of it, not having any of those details, it sounds very good, right? Very exciting, especially once people will get some genuine relief.
Right. Yeah.
But there's always a hesitation for me because I need the details.
Yeah.
I would like to have the details so that we could see how this is going to work. Because, like you said, how are these businesses, how are these organizations going to make their money back? What does that mean? What did we give up? What did we agree to?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I will say, as I usually do, I am cautiously optimistic. So I put it like that until we get the actual details, and then
Yeah.
we're like, okay, all right, I see where this makes sense. Because the reality is nobody's going to go into business to not make money.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody's going into business saying, hey, I don't want to make anything. I'm just doing this because I love Bahamians.
Yeah. Or
And
I would like to take 26 years to make my money back.
Right.
So let's keep the
Right.
the payments low for Bahamians, and we'll just thug it out.
While I make my money back.
We'll just
right?
thug it out while I make my money back. Yeah.
Because I have, I have enough money, so I'm not worried. And my shareholders, they're in a total agreement. We know that doesn't happen. So we really need to see the details. We
Yeah.
need to know the details, the agreement, the arrangements. What have we given up? What have we? That's important.
Yeah.
Because we find that a lot of times when we find these things that are on the back end, it's like, what? We did what?
And I'm glad you mentioned shareholders because in the paper today, we see EA Energy had gone to the market to raise, I guess, somewhere around $140 million. And then they're going to do another raise soon for retail investors. So like you mentioned, there are going to be Bahamians with a stake in the game looking for a return on their investment in power plants, right? And so, what are those details? I mean, I'm sure in whatever prospectus they put out to raise this money, there should be some details, but who knows? I haven't seen any of it, so.
We're still waiting for, let's go back to Pike. We're
Yeah.
still waiting for that. We're still waiting for all those I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed so that we can get that information.
Yep. Who caught up in the BPL and power thing? The Tribune has an interesting headline. Mitchell hits out at Cuban claims, and they ran a story about that covered a leaked contract for those Cuban workers. And I guess so Fred Mitchell decided to deal with it in the House of Assembly yesterday, and he says he warned that documents leaked by a U.S.-based human rights group purporting to show that Cuban medical professionals in the Bahamas receive a small fraction of their contracted wages could be part of a broader effort to influence Bahamian public policy and undermine the country's sovereignty. He said the documents published last week by the Miami-based Cuba Archive were purloined and lacked explanation or context. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what purloined means.
Well, that makes two of us because I'm right here like purloined. Let me Google
I can
that.
tell you right now, it's to steal something that was stolen.
Okay.
Why did he have to say that? But anyway, that's a Fred Mitchell thing. He would use that word. He cautioned against the influence of such leaks, but did not categorically deny the organization's central claim that Cuban medical professionals receive less than 20% of the wages paid excuse me, by the Bahamian government, an arrangement that could place local officials in the crosshairs of U.S. authorities considering visa restrictions for those linked to Cuba's medical mission program. So that this whole story stems back to the U.S. saying, that people were hiring Cuban labor and not paying them fairly,
and that they would cancel visas or not renew visas.
And so, as this article says, Fred Mitchell didn't say that. While he says the document was purloined, he didn't say that it wasn't true. And I don't see anywhere in the story where he denies that the information was true, but says that it's a
and that's the issue.
Right. But he says it's a conspiracy.
That's the bigger issue. Is this, it's been purloined. And so, yes, they have to deal with an issue of, I guess, privacy and confidentiality, because how were they able to get access to this document? Who gave them access? I don't assume that this document is just laying around, but he did not say that it was correct.
Right. And I mean, one must understand the problem I have with Fred Mitchell and his statement is, when these things happen, why don't you bring us the credible information? Don't come to the Bahamian people and start with it's a conspiracy. They're trying to do something to us. They're attacking us. We're sovereign. We're this, we're that. Okay. Is the information true? Tell us that. Right? And if it is, why is it? What kind of deal did we make?
What's
the
the
Bahamian
reason?
people
Yeah,
never
what's the deal?
understand what deals our governments make, and then they come out and say, it's an attack against us. Well, we would attack you too if we didn't have the details. I mean, we wanted the details too. When the U.S. started talking about it, right? We wanted to know, well, is it true? Is this what we did? What did we do? Did we pay them this much? Did the Cuban government, as we know, the Cuban government works in a certain way, when it comes to its workers and their wages? We all know that. So how did it work? And so we would like to know, how did it work? How did the deal work? But, when somebody leaks a document, and
This is the way that we have to find out.
right. And we did this whole whistleblower act so that these kinds of things can happen, right? And not that this needed to be blown, but if the U.S. government is saying we don't like how some countries are doing this with Cuban workers, and we have to be introspective, well, let the whole country be introspective and understand if they might target us, tell us if
Right.
that's the case.
Right. Let us know if it, if you're coming out and saying, well, this doesn't really apply to us, we don't have to be concerned about it. Let us but don't just say that if that's what you're saying. Say to us, we don't have to be concerned about this here because this is what we do.
Right.
I just put it all out on the table. Don't have it, we're always reacting, right? So don't have a situation now where this has come out. While you talk about the manner in which they got the information and you talk about, like it's a conspiracy, people have their motives or whatever, you're not saying that this document that came out that shows that they only get, what was it, 20%
Right.
of their salary is correct,
Right.
or is incorrect, or you say that it's not in the right context. Well, give us the correct context.
Exactly.
Go into the explanation of that so that we get a full understanding of how this happens,
Yeah. It's
rather than just,
yeah.
they're out together. Okay.
And I'm just reading a little bit more what he said he in his quotes. And he said the Bahamas must rely on its moral values and our voice as a small nation without economic or military power. He says, quote, we don't have the economic power, we don't have military power. We only have the moral values and our voice. He said the elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. Folks who are well-meaning ought to be more careful and circumspect in this world that we live in today. You cannot argue that you're doing good when you know, in fact, you may be inflicting harm. What is he talking about?
I just went to go back. So are we the grass
We must be.
in the quote? So we're the grass.
We must be. But
Okay.
again,
Okay.
if
So
it's
is he saying then, I'm just trying to understand. So what he's saying then is that these people who may have released it may think that they're doing good,
right
but they are creating harm. They're
for
creating
us.
harm for others, for us.
But the bottom line is, I'm naive as to think to myself that the U.S. State Department and whomever does not know what the contract between the Bahamas and Cuba looks like. I would never think that. As a matter of fact, I would think that they get to see when it was being signed somehow, satellites or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? So after it's leaked and you don't say whether it's true or not, you might as well just give us the information and say, okay, this is something the U.S. government might look at us a little sideways for, because that's what they said earlier.
But yes,
but this is why we did it. I mean, let's look at
right.
let's look at Barbados. Mia Motley came out and said, cancel our visas. We had to hire Cuban doctors to save lives in Barbados during the COVID-19 crisis. Cancel our visas.
Right.
How more straightforward can you get?
You know what? Listen, Chester, you and I both know we'll never take a stand like that. Never. That will never come out of any. Never. Let's don't even, that would never come out, but I get what you're saying.
I'm just letting that marinate.
Just be forthright.
Just
be forthright. What's happening? This is what we did.
Because we did it.
This is your explanation to the Bahamian people. Hey, this is what we did. This is why we did it.
And
these are the facts laid out on the table.
And again, I know the government said they're going to table all of these power purchase agreements, et cetera, et cetera. You can't, and we talk about this on the radio. I don't know if they talk about this on the street or if they talk about this to their politicians, to their representatives, but we talk about this on the radio all the time. You cannot keep us in the dark and expect us to believe things that you say. You can't say we're doing good for you. We're fixing the electricity supply, but we have no idea what that's going to look like. As you mentioned, what's that going to cost us in 3 years? You say the price is going to go down, but we don't understand how it's going down because we don't have any information. We just have what you're telling us. You're just giving us the roses and telling us sniff it, right? That's the part the Bahamians don't want to just swallow. And Fred Mitchell is not helping by doing this. By getting Bahamians to feel like somebody's doing. So after that's all said and done, if the U.S. wants to cancel visas, well, tell us, are we in trouble? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a possibility? Are you having conversations with them?
My children.
Right? To me, it seems simple. I mean, to people in politics, maybe it's a game that they play.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got some calls coming in. Let's try to take those calls. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Black.
Morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Laverne.
Good morning, TNN.
Wonderfully. Laverne, I don't know if you remember Grammy Boy GNN when you was on with Dwight, and we had the same topic with Cuba. GNN say, Mia Motley had to answer like that. Her country ain't no corrupt country. So she did what she had to do. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance was not meaning countries like Mia Motley, them, who they was talking to. That's why they say they can cancel certain visas. Mia Motley had no problem with that. But then our people were talking about entrapment and all kind of foolishness here. We are the country that is right under the United States. We have all kind of different nationalities here trying to get over to the United States. So they was meaning us. Donald Trump knew exactly what he was saying. Yeah, a lot of people calling this and calling that. We are apartheid or party to Cuban slave labor. Because once we need the doctors, But the way in which it is being done is what Donald Trump is talking about. He is saying these people are coming to work. The monies are being paid to an agency in Cuba, and like the news said this morning, they just get a little fraction or whatever to sustain themselves while they're out of the country. We are doing it all the time because we got Cuban doctors here now. And that is what he was talking about. You're being a part to these people being hired for slave labor. That's the bottom line.
I know about slave labor, but...
Would you say...
I say I don't know about slave labor, but definitely.
You say you don't know about slave labor?
No.
You let somebody send you somewhere, and they make $1 million off you, and you get $20. And you tell me what you think that is.
Well, again, like I said, nobody is ignorant to how Cuba and its socialist state works. So, again, we signed a contract with Cuba to get some of their doctors. It probably wasn't with each individual person. Like when I get a job, I sign a contract with a business.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't like that.
Listen to me, Chester. Listen to me, Laverne. Bahamian people, something got to be wrong with Bahamian people. Because when these kind of things happen, like you and Laverne are discussing, that our politicians just come on air where everybody in the world can see and hear them and just throw out a bunch of into the air. Bahamian people got to be tired of that. We have to be just like our brothers and sisters that were sent to Haiti, the police, the couple pound for the police. I had to call all the way in Kenya to find out exactly what's going on with that. But the minister is on the radio here saying something different. That mission over there, those guys down there are mercenaries. They're being paid mercenaries' monies, and that mission is not is not a UN sanctioned mission. Those people that they mercenaries, they getting paid, and they was given full immunity, whatever happened. Our politicians need to stop that.
I don't know who you're talking about right now, but thanks. I gotta get to some of these calls. Appreciate you, GNN. Let's take this next call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Both of you.
Yes, good morning.
Especially Laverne. The devil is
Good
in
morning.
the details. I
Yes.
just like that phrase. I just like when I hear that because it reminds me of how we don't look at the fine print. You know, we get insurance contracts we don't read. Online, we sign agreements when they say read your disagreement.
We just click
before
agree.
you want to submit. So we don't read the details. But could I share an example of the devil being in the details?
Yes.
Let's suppose now that I'm your president and I'm going to apply a 100% tariff on cars that are coming in. Okay, so you paid 100% tariff. Now, that extra 100% goes into public treasury, right? I'm your president. So now at the end of any given period, don't forget now, I can give you back 50% of that and say, guess what? You're getting the tax break. Whereas that's your own money. You follow me?
Sort of.
Yeah, okay, well, this is what Donald Trump is doing, all right? He's charging high tariff. The Americans are going to have to pay that, and then at the end of a period of time, he's going to give them a half of it back and say, you're getting a break. Okay?
All right.
That's the details that the devil is involved in that Americans are not looking at. And we have the same criminal activity going on through politicians all around the world. Now, this Mia Mottley lady, she's so straight up. Boy, I really wish she was our prime minister. That would be wonderful. Anyway, y'all have wonderful.
You have a good day. Okay? Let's try to take some more of these calls. Y'all call in fast and furious. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. I just want to bring a little clarity in regards to the labor situation.
Right.
Because in the marine industry, most of the cruise vessels are conducting the same type of business in the Philippines, India, smaller, cheap labor. So this has been going on for almost decades now, this practice. So the aim is to get outside this little bubble we're there and realize how the world really operates. Thank you for taking my call.
Wait. Don't go. You still there?
Go ahead.
You mentioned, you comparing the Philippines to Cuba? Those two countries operate the same?
If you look at the reality of
there's cheap labor, but we're talking about Cubans.
Yeah,
that's a whole different story.
Everywhere in the world right now.
Yeah, but this situation is about Cubans and how Cubans are paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same as cheap labor from around the world.
Practice. That's what I'm stating.
Okay, thank you. Let's take this next call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend. Caller, you're on.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Laverne.
Morning.
Ms. Gardner, Poppy. I think it's going to be hot today. That sounded like submarine passed over a while ago. I don't know if you can see outside Chester, but
no.
I think the Bahamas should rise up and continue to say no to slave labor. I think we do a little bit of cheap labor, but I guess we should say no to
I don't like the term slave labor.
No,
these people were being paid.
We should say no to it, continue to say no to it, and I guess we do a little bit of cheap labor, and we should try to see if we can move forward from that and pay people what they deserve to be paid, especially doctors and nurses. Chester, I don't know if you heard all the news, you said anything this morning. You hear anything with an AI or there with the Prime Minister talking?
Yeah, there's more than one video.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if Ms. Gardner aware of creative the Caribbean parts of the world, Freeport and Nassau, where a lot of people get swing with their money. That AI.
I am aware.
That AI is dangerous, man. And I hope we don't be gullible, like how some of us was gullible. People say it's gullible. They say perception or something like that. And go ahead and follow these, what I call these con artists, them who try and encourage us to invest. We need to invest our money on ourselves and do some creative things for ourselves, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
also I just wanted to say, I so happy that the commissioner of police did not get hurt in that the deputy commissioner of police did not get hurt in that alleged armed robbery that was reported on the news. And people might say it's crazy to say it, but you know, we ain't condone nothing like that, and we won't punish robbers and stuff, and we want to see if we can help them to discourage them from going out there to rob and hurt people. But I want to say thanks to them robbers for not killing the commissioner of police or not killing anybody when they didn't take the money, because at that period, the people's life was be inside the robbers' hand, and they decide if they can kill these people or not. And I thank God, and I thank the robbers them. I hope they be punished, the right persons who do it, but thank them today for not shooting or not killing the deputy commissioner of police. And when you go there and do these things, then I wish you don't do it. But if you do it, man, my God, stop taking people's life. But just I don't want to ask you, even when a commissioner or a deputy commissioner or let's say a past commissioner, when they off duty and stuff, do these guys them still have a free issue? Do we allow them to keep their weapons on them?
Yeah. Pop, I got to take so many calls coming in, but thanks. I'll answer you. Yes, they do. Some of them do. And I'm sure they don't always have it with them. Let's try to get some more of these calls before we got to go to the break. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning, Laverne. Good morning, Chester.
Hey, this one got to be quick, Sea Island.
Did you say whistle? Did you say whistle or a whistle blower? Did you get your whistle?
Both.
And Chester, don't use the word dark, man, when you talk about BPL. Just before I speak to the slave labor, the proper, if you get rid of slave labor, no behemoths will go to work. But Chester, you have to understand the spin, the gaslighting that we got from the Minister of Misinformation for the Progressive Liberal Party. It's more of gaslighting. And one of the things you have to realize, and let me just first say, the person who spoke about the labor around the world, what he's referring to is that we have similar agreements with other countries here in the Bahamas, where workers come to these other countries and their salaries goes to those particular countries, such as countries that provide maids and other different things to the Bahamas. Labor dumping in the Bahamas is not a foreign thing, and this is one of the things that I've been trying to speak to for over a decade now. But, correct sizing our economy. And but when you look at the Cuban doctors, and I hope the Doctors Alliance or whatever is listening to this, if you extrapolate from the information that has been provided concerning the fact that from other reports that these doctors them get to keep $300 a week in the Bahamas, that would mean that while we pay our doctors less, these doctors come in with a base salary of $78,000 a year, for which the Cuban government keeps $62,000 plus off that $78,000 a year. But what it says is that if we are paying these doctors that amount, then why aren't we paying the same amount to our doctors in this localized system? And so when you ask about exposure or clarity from the minister or coming from the actual minister responsible, Dr. Davo, we should have complete disclosure as to what we are paying them and what we're paying Cuba and whatever else is being paid to these doctors. Because if we're paying our doctors disparately less and we're paying Cuba knowing that they're taking most of the salary of these individuals, then we owe our doctors them maybe some gratuities and things backwards.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you look at this BPL, the BPL deal, I describe it as more of a suicide note than an actual energy strategy. And when you ask all of these things, like such as the information, such as these people for profit, how they're going to share in it, take into effect that we talk about 2032 to get a 5-cent reduction. Okay, how far away is 2032 from here? I'm not too.
Yeah, not too far. We gotta go to our call back.
No, I call back.
Okay.
It's important for people to understand.
All right.
This, because we have to ask the right question.
Yeah,
I'll call back after the break or even after the news.
Okay,
Thanks.
great, thanks. We're going to go to this break, and Morning Blend will return on the other side.
It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
This segment of Morning Blend brought to you by RBC, with RBC reaching your goals happens here. We're looking at traffic on Gladstone Road. Excuse me. Starting to get thick as you approach John F. Kennedy Drive. It's not all the way up the hill, but it is starting to climb the hill, backing up. Some other the highway, though, is thick, with traffic backed up all the way past Fire Trail Road, into the roundabout, and onto Fire Trail Road. And traffic is starting to build on Tonic Williams Darling Highway in the westbound lane. In other hot spots, Carmichael Road and Blue Hill Road, traffic starting to build at the intersection there. Not too bad over the hill yet, but that little area where the road turns into from 2 to 1 and back to 2, that's starting to build up a little bit there. Lots of traffic on East Street as you approach Independence Drive and the East-West Highway roundabout. And as of right now, those are your hot spots, really. Everywhere else pretty clear. That's your traffic. This segment brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. And it's time for your second look at weather, brought to you by Star General Insurance. Your general situation, the tight pressure gradient between a persistent high pressure system and a trough extending to near the greater Antilles is generating fresh to moderate breeze through the archipelago. Streaming tropical moisture combined with mid to upper level troughing will increase showers and possible thunderstorms across the central. Troughing will continue to support showers in the central and southern islands into the weekend, while high pressure remains over the area. Fresh to moderate breezes and choppy seas are expected to persist heading into next week. There is a moderate risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines, as well as possible rough surf conditions, especially along the Atlantic exposed waters. Therefore, beachgoers and swimmers should exercise caution when entering those beaches. Due to the anticipated high UV indices tomorrow, the public is encouraged to limit outdoor exposure and wear protective clothing and sunscreen in the late morning through to 4 p.m. For the northern Bahamas, weather partly sunny and breezy, becoming fair and windy tonight, less than 10% chance of showers. Winds easterly at 15 knots with higher gusts, increasing 15 to 20 knots tonight. Your high temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the northwest Bahamas, weather partly sunny and breezy, becoming fair and windy tonight, 10 to 20% chance of showers. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. 84 degrees is your high, 73 degrees Fahrenheit is your low. Bahamas, partly cloudy and breezy through tonight, a 20 to 30% chance of showers or thunderstorm. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. 86 degrees Fahrenheit is your high and 75 is your low. And for the southeast Bahamas, weather partly cloudy and breezy, 20 to 30% chance of widely scattered showers or isolated thunderstorms. Winds northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Your high temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll have an extended forecast for you later in the show. That was brought to you by Star General Insurance. Star General Insurance made simple.
What if I
I told you, Wendy's has a new burger with a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
Here's a price list of some of the roofing material we carry at Pinda Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68. Grace Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, 15 pounds, $16.50. 30 pound, $19.80. Owens, Corning Duration Shingles, and Certainty Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon of roof cement, $33.47. All sizes treated dimensional lumber. And of course, we have all nails and all screws. We have 5/8 sheetrock, $28.76. Half-inch sheetrock, $22.18. All prices include VAT.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal to help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Well, welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards, along with Laverne Gardner, and there were a lot of text messages coming in while we were talking about this. Excuse me. What Fred Mitchell said about the leaked document about how we were paying Cuban doctors and nurses. This person says, good morning. Do you know if there's going to be any public share offering on the LNG power deal? There might be. I don't know which one though. There's a few. I don't know, and I don't know if there'll be retail. You know, there's a difference. They go to big investors, people who got hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they come to the little people like us and let us join in. Good day. To tell the population the truth is an admission of guilt on the part of the government. The government is never guilty. Huh. Interesting. Good morning. So if Fred is saying we only have moral power and we are doing things that are less than fair, is he saying we are not moral?
Good question.
He left the lines to be interpreted, right?
Yes.
This person says, good morning, Chester and Laverne, or we could not enter into skills or labor movement to our country that allows for near slave wages. Just the U.S. State Department more than likely knows more about what happens in our government than we ever will. Yeah. No lie. No lie there. This person says, but Fred could have simply given us the information. They like to cover up everything but preach transparency. Because Barbados is governed by a real woman and we are governed by... Oh, that's terrible. I won't finish that.
Yeah, let's leave that right there.
Fred and Brave will sell us short every day before they give up their traveling status. Okay. This person is interesting that the U.S. hasn't responded to our diplomatic note requesting information, and equally concerning that our own government isn't keeping us informed either. Well, only one of them has the what's the word I'm looking for? Prerogative to do it. So, good morning, Chester. I like listening to Morning Blend, but in my opinion, you guys allow. I'm sure you spelled C. Allen wrong, but it's an interesting spelling. To take up too much time, but others are cut off when they try to express themselves more. No, not really. I try to give everybody a fair time. We gotta go to the news. I'm cutting myself off. Let's go.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Here's the Sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, a little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I had to forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
And now at 8:32, it's time for your final look at today's weather, your general situation, the tight pressure gradient between a persistent high pressure system and a trough extending to near the Greater Antilles is generating fresh to moderate breeze throughout the archipelago. Extreme tropical moisture combined with mid to upper level troughing will increase showers and possible thunderstorms across the central and southeastern islands. Troughing will continue to support showers in the central and southern islands into the weekend, while high pressure remains over the area. Fresh to moderate breezes and choppy seas are expected to persist heading into next week. There is a moderate to high risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines, as well as possible rough surf conditions, especially along the Atlantic exposed waters. Therefore, beachgoers and swimmers should exercise extreme caution when entering these beaches. Due to the anticipated high UV indices tomorrow, the public is encouraged to limit outdoor exposure and wear protective clothing and sunscreen late morning through to 4 p.m. For the northern Bahamas, weather partly sunny and breezy, becoming fair and windy tales of showers, winds easterly at 15 knots, with higher gusts increasing to 15 to 20 knots tonight. Your high temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the northwest Bahamas, weather partly sunny and breezy, becoming fair and windy tonight, a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers, winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Your high temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the central Bahamas, partly cloudy and breezy, 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers or a thunderstorm. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Your high temperature 86 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the southeast Bahamas, weather partly cloudy and breezy through tonight. A 20 to 30% chance of widely scattered showers or isolated thunderstorms. Winds northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Your high temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Your outlook for tomorrow, Friday, partly cloudy during the day, turning mostly fair at night. 10% chance of a stray shower or two in the northern and northwest Bahamas. A 20 to 30% chance of showers with a few thunderstorms possible in the central and southeast Bahamas. Winds, all areas, northeast to east-northeast at 15 knots in the northern Bahamas, increasing 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts in the northwest, central, and southeast Bahamas. Your high temperature 85 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And on Saturday, you're looking at partly sunny skies during the day, becoming mostly fair at night. Stray shower or two in the northern and northwest Bahamas, 20 to 30% chance in the central and southeast Bahamas. Expect a few isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the southeast Bahamas. Winds northeast to east-northeast at 15 knots in the northern Bahamas, increasing 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts in the northwest, central, and southeast Bahamas. Your high temperature 85 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That weather outlook brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints. Are your walls giving major L? Time to fix that at your nearest Sherwin-Williams Paint store. We've got vibrant colors delivered with professional vibes. Done listening? Start glistening with Sherwin-Williams Paints. And this segment of Morning Blend brought to you by RBC. With RBC, reaching your goals happens here. I'm going to look at your traffic now. Glasson Road, still not too bad. A little traffic on the hill there as you approach John F. Kennedy Drive. Looks like things have gotten a bit better on Sir Milo Butler Highway. Traffic is still kind of tight there. Nope, not getting better on Sir Milo Butler Highway. Having a little glitch here. And traffic still built up on Tonic Williams Darling Highway westbound. Lots of traffic now on Blue Hill Road as you approach Tonic Williams Darling Highway and Independence Drive, the roundabout there. Not too much on Carmichael Road, the intersection of Blue Hill Road. Seems like it's moving if there is. The traffic on East Street as you approach Independence Drive and East West Highway. Not too much other places to talk about. I'm sure next week will be a totally different story. But that is your traffic for the moment. This segment of Morning Blend brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
With RBC,
your ideas become plans.
Your plans become memories.
This is retirement. And your dreams become your life.
whether it's planning that family vacation, owning your dream home, or retiring comfortably, your ideas are everything. And RBC is here to help make them happen. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients, while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
Since 1989, Joker's Wild Comedy Club has been the heart of laughter in the Bahamas. But now an era is coming to a close. Tommy Davidson, along with featured comedian Kirk Green and house comedian Naughty. Don't miss your last chance to experience the magic. May 20th to the 25th, Joker's Wild Comedy Club. Admission $50. Get your tickets now at Atlantis, Bahamas/events.
Spring into saving sale. Fresh savings for a blooming fresh season. Deals, 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 and more deals just waiting for you. 2 days of spectacular savings up to 50% off. Selected store-wide Friday, April 25th, and tent sales Saturday, April 26th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't miss it. Be there and save, save, save. BWF Spring Clearance, Easter Mega Sale and tent sale. Up to 50% off Friday, April 25th, and tent sales Saturday, April 26th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Savings include appliances, small appliances, kitchen and bakeware supplies, outdoor cooking supplies, barbecue grills, griddles, and fryers, lawn and garden supplies, and flower pots, household supplies, bears, bunnies, and blossoms, craft supplies, toys, and so much more. BWF, we are more than just our name. Number 13 Wilton Street. Check out our Facebook page. We ship to the Family Island.
Hallelujah, will be ringing a victory forever.
Skipping stones on the water, while moonbeams dance on the sea. I'll breeze is blow. Are you here with me? Or up there amongst the stars? I can see you in heaven, playing your guitar. You were so gifted, your brothers couldn't see. But my heart you lifted, your music set me free. With just a simple smile and the magic in your hands shows us proof of God working through a man. But there you are sitting on a bench. I like holy water, but so you quench.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards, filling in for Dwight Strachan, and Laverne Gardner is with me today. And we are talking today with Pharrell Goff. The Better You series. It's a monthly self-improvement series every fourth Thursday, and always happy to have him. Pharrell, you there with us?
Hey, good morning, Chester. Good
Hey.
morning, Bahamas.
Good morning, good morning. And you having a bit of trouble this morning.
Yeah, I wanted to be there in person. It's nothing I like more than waking up to your face, right? But it's good. It's no problem. We can do it. I had to shift the technology provides us with many solutions now.
That's right. It seems fitting that you have to go through adversity and become a better you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Chester, and good morning, Laverne.
Good
You know,
morning.
Chester, I always say that adaptability is probably the greatest, most valued quality we can have as human beings or any living creature, right?
Yeah.
It's just the ability to adjust on a dime,
Yeah.
right? And I'll be honest with you, I'll have a vulnerable moment on here when I turned the key. I was like, what is going on? I say, okay, maybe this is a simple issue. And I realized that I think something happened. I left something on overnight, so the battery is completely drained, and I didn't have time to a jump wouldn't even
Right.
have effect. So I have to actually take the battery and get it charged up someplace. And I had to take a deep breath, Chester. I wanted to be, I wanted to be agitated and annoyed, right? The one time when I actually need the vehicle. But I just had to take a deep breath and say, okay, think, what are some of the options? And I reached out to you, and within 30 seconds, we had an alternative direction forward, right? That
Yeah.
that works pretty well. So it's true. It's true. I mean, it's something that we have to do. You have to, regulate your emotions as much as you can. And in many instances, as adults, because life throws you so much curveballs that you really need to stay calm. And people need to be reminded that emotion and logic rarely share the same space.
Hmm.
Emotion will always win. So you have to be very, very careful with keeping those emotions in check when you need to think very logically. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
a real life example this
This,
morning.
Yeah.
this is true. What are we focusing on today?
So I wanted to just focus on just the importance, right, and the need for outside help when it comes to relationships, whether that's coaching, whatever it may be, right? Just the importance and the function of reaching out to hopefully trained professionals to help us along that journey, the relationship journey, particularly intimate, but it really it's across all relationships, right? I mean, they're not easy, Chester and Laverne. It's very difficult to navigate when you have two completely separate individuals with separate upbringings, separate challenges, separate qualities, separate core values, trying to come together, really come together and navigate life as as one, right? There's a lot of challenges that can arise, and many times we in and of ourselves we do not have the skill set necessary to navigate those already in an emotional and sometimes very elevated and friction filled environment, right? So the need for reaching out and getting help is extremely important. But the funny thing is, in our culture and in our society in the Caribbean, it's still somewhat frowned upon, right? It's seen as weakness, it's seen as failure. I should be able to handle my own business when it comes to this very complicated world of relationships. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do, right? We can wait this out, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be so detrimental, right? So detrimental because a lot of us haven't figured out our own lives, much less trying to figure out someone else's life, right? So it's so important that we put some value on the utility function of folks who have been trained, folks who have been experienced in a lot of these things that we may be trying to navigate, and who can really add some value and direction and possibly help us salvage something that's very important to us, right? Our relationship.
Yeah. Well, I think you said it earlier when we were talking about the cost situation. A lot of relationships involve emotion, and when those get high and low, you don't know where it might go, where it might take the conversation or lack of conversation.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think a really good analogy, Chester, is when you think about your car, right? It's fitting, ironically, for this morning. Um, when your car breaks down, depending on the issue, or depending on your comfort level or mechanics, you typically seek the help or aid or service of a mechanic. You don't sit there and try to take your engine apart and figure it out. Even with YouTube, many of us still won't take that chance, right? Because the car is a valued asset to us. It helps us get to from point A to point B comfortably and on time. So we value it. We don't want to tinker with it for the risk of making it worse. So we will seek, a professional help in resolving some of these issues. But when it comes to relationships, we don't necessarily take that approach, right? And if I take it one step further, Chester, the sooner you take your car in, the better, the higher the likelihood that the issue can be resolved in a pretty straightforward and economical way when it comes to, the moving parts of a car.
Right.
And on
Yeah.
top of that, the best thing you could possibly do is take your car for regular service.
So
You don't
that's
even,
right.
you should not even wait until something is wrong. That's the best way to maintain the quality, longevity. But guess what we do in relationships? I let one of y'all answer. What do we do in relationships?
We wait until everything, the wheels fall off,
Oh
the
my
engine
God,
burn
Laverne.
up, everything.
Oh
And
my
that was
gosh.
such a great point just now. When we see these little things coming, if we begin to get that third party, that outside help, typically the going for therapy or, getting some sort of professional help is the very last option. Somebody's about ready to walk out the door and it's like the lifeline. Let's go to a counselor.
Yeah.
But if this had been something that you made a normal part of your relationship, you perhaps would not have gotten to that point. But much like the car analysis, we wait until it's all like and the mechanic
Yes.
is saying, you need a new car.
And we go to, a coach or therapist or a counselor at that point, like you mentioned, Laverne, when the wheels are falling off of our relationship, and we expect them to work miracles.
Yeah.
We literally expect them to work miracles. To be honest with you, if that professional is honest, he'll say, it's cheaper, I'll just call it a day and start over with some new people. But hey, but fix yourself first. And that's the thing, right? We wait until things are so broken. There's so much animosity, resentment that there's very little. It's really, really difficult for I don't care how skilled you are, any professional to really turn that around, right? So um, and Laverne it's like you said it, if we can see these things at the beginning when they start, these little issues, boy, baby, you know what, I feel a little something. I don't think we handle things the way we used to before. Before I get too bad, let's give Farrell a call, let's give so and so a call. Let's see if we can bring them in or we can go in and just do a little touch up.
Yeah.
And it's not an admittance of being broken or failure. It's actually a great deal of maturity and awareness that you are being proactive, that you value this thing so much that we are being proactive. I ain't gonna wait until the wheels fall off because I don't want to lose it. I actually want to preserve this. I want this to be a part of my life and you to be a part of my life for a long time. I know it sounds all fluffy when you say it, right? It sounds very easy, but in application, it gets a little bit more difficult. But what we do is we'll run to our friends, we'll run to our family, and we'll just, we'll talk about it in those spaces. And many times just get some horrible advice because those persons they're not trained in this very, very complicated territory, right? But we continue to go to them and they become, a source in our air, and that can provide issues as well. And I'm not taking anything away from the support we provide each other from friends and family. I'm just saying relationships, it's like a whole different animal. And I think, for the first time, our generation is starting to appreciate that. So you do see, I'll say it, you do see more people seeking the employment of trained professionals, but it's still, unfortunately, they come in when it's too late. And it creates a very huge challenge for the professionals, and they try their best, but many times, it's too far gone, Chester.
Yeah. So you're saying when you're let's say you're in a marriage, don't let your single homegirl be the last word about your relationship.
Absolutely not, especially if that single home girl has never seen or experienced a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would also say, even and not just your or homeboy or whatever, but even in terms of recognizing that you need an outside, unbiased third party because we all have our biases. And even the friend that may be married with the best intentions, who's listening and wants to help you navigate this as much as possible, there may be some biases that they have because they're really your friend more so than they are the friend of your spouse, right? So there may be some biases, there may be some things that they don't necessarily point out even subconsciously because there is that link or tie with you. And so I think it's important just to get that professional,
Yes. Amen.
unbiased, unconnected support. And going back to the point that you made earlier, Farrell, when you talk about just you're in a relationship and sometimes you sense that, hey, we're a little bit off. We're not in sync quite as how we used to be. It doesn't mean that the relationship is in jeopardy or whatever, but you notice that we're not communicating, we're not in sync like the way that we used to. Let's check into that. What's happening? And it may be something totally unrelated to the relationship in the sense that it may be that I'm under a lot of stress from work. So I'm not, firing on all cylinders in the relationship like how I normally would. But to recognize that, hey, something's happening. And then let's also be open to if we need to go further.
Yeah, and I couldn't say it better, Chest. I think Laverne trying to take my job. Slow your roll.
I'm
Slow your roll.
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize, sir.
You sound a little too good. Okay, that's my job. No, I'm kidding.
I'm so sorry.
No, very good, very good. So Laverne, I'll tell you, and you're spot on, but to take it one step further, unfortunately, most relationships are not environments where you can have honest conversation, right?
Mm.
Where you can have some of those hard conversations, where one partner can admit and be extremely vulnerable to another partner without there being someone taking it personal, feelings getting involved, possibly pettiness or retribution coming down the pipeline. So even when you do the check-in, and even when you realize something is off, you have to know how to read the room. You need to know the relationship you're in, and it may not you guys may not be there. You might not have a dysfunctional relationship, but it may not be an environment where you can actually, or maybe this thing is very triggering to the thing that's bothering you is very triggering to this partner, and you know that, so you don't necessarily feel comfortable that you could bring it up. Even more reason why those simple conversations sometimes need to be had in an environment with, like you mentioned, with objectivity and someone who's just really rooting for the best interest of the relationship, not one partner or the other. So conversations sometimes require outside assistance. It just because of who we are individually, how we've been brought up, our own challenges and issues. So, but most importantly, please, you don't wait until the wheels are falling off of the car or the relationship to reach out for help. It's so many times it's so sad, right? And you're sitting across from these two people who, when you ask about their history and their beginning, sometimes it's like the most beautiful story, and you can see that it was genuine. Some stuff was genuine feelings and love in the beginning, and it's just deteriorated to a point where the work that it takes to turn it around, it's almost impossible for one, much less two individuals to accomplish, right? So it's just a very difficult environment. So I wanted to stress the importance of reaching out to a coach, a therapist, a counselor for help in your relationship as soon as possible. And it creates such higher likelihood of relative success in the long run.
Now, how do you even broach the subject of getting help? Because sometimes that could even be triggering.
100%.
Yeah.
Why? What you mean? Why you want to go there to talk with me? on. You think I need somebody to tell me what to do? Would you? No, man. I would know. My daddy take care of everything. I know how to take care of tanks. Right? I don't need. So it that in itself is very difficult just to depend. Again, you got to read the room. You got to read your relationship. Right? Some people think, okay, cool, honey, let's roll. Right? Some people may be very put off by that and reject the idea when that's exactly what's needed. So you can reach out also to a therapist, a counselor, a coach on your own. Sometimes you need individual guidance to help you navigate your own relationship, so you know how to handle certain situations, right? You don't have to figure it all out on your own. That's the beautiful thing about having these trained professionals around you. And in the Bahamas, that industry is growing, so there's more options out there as well. So sometimes, yes, you got to even reach out to find out how to have the conversation, how to start the conversation.
Right. That makes sense. I had a text message coming in. I just want to read it. It says, please note, some people are not relationship ready. Many of us are broken in too many pieces, coming from disturbed, confused, mixed up, godless focus. Hurt people tries to hurt others. Many persons go into a relationship wanting to get love and not give. Some people fake their way for a short while and unable to keep it up.
No, amen.
Yeah.
Amen. The majority of us are broken, Shasta, broken adults. We've never reconciled with our childhood trauma. We've never reflected on the human beings who we actually want to be and how we want to show up in this world, opposed to what we were shown, what we were trained to do as very young. Our cultural influences, our social influences, insecurities drive us. Most of those are what drives human beings, opposed to making a conscious, deliberate effort to be the person you actually want to be in this world. So,
wow. And
it's
go ahead, Laverne.
Yeah, sorry. It's so important for us to, as we're on this journey, this life journey, to begin to be honest with ourselves, to find out and look at what is motivating us. Why am I the way that I am? I am a 100% believer in that kind of introspection. How can I do this better? What tools can I engage? And you may find that you may need professional help personally, individually, before you even start or think about getting into a relationship. To do that hard, difficult work of that introspection and saying, and looking at past relationships and maybe the kind of things that took place. How did I contribute? This is something that I practice, I try to practice now. Even if my husband and I, if we have a disagreement and I feel like I'm correct, I think I was right. If it does not go the way that, it should, it's a disagreement. My question, it's always the most difficult thing, is how did I contribute to what took place? Anything that I could have done differently.
The level of self-awareness and personal responsibility, just speaking of, is absolutely amazing. And it's one of the core ingredients for a healthy individual and beginning that journey of healing and growth, and also a healthy relationship. What you're speaking about is what some of us professionals, it takes us years to build in people. So kudos to you, Laverne. And however you ended up there, you need to share that story with more people so you can influence them. But it's very difficult to do on your own. Very, very difficult to do on your own. And I
very, it's very difficult. And it's, I would say to anyone that it's something that you really have to be committed to, and it hurts your feelings. It hurts your feelings because we like to be right.
We like the narrative again. We like that road narrative we have in our head of ourselves. When really and truly,
and then sometimes you just have to take a step back and look at yourself and be like, no, you got to get yourself all the way together. This is unhealthy.
Yeah, and it's such an empowering journey, I imagine. You can probably attest to it, right? Because now you start to dictate, you start to influence and drive where your life is going, the quality of your relationships. It's a very empowering journey, but you're right, very uncomfortable, very difficult, particularly in the beginning.
We hear about all men and women and how how difficult it might be to navigate that divide. But let me poke the hornet's nest a little bit, right? So they always say women don't ever want to say sorry, and men are always the ones forced to say sorry, and I'm sure that builds lots of animosity in relationships. Like how do you deal with the idea that women are just like this and men are just like this?
I'll be honest with you. What I've come to realize over the last 3-4 years of this journey into life coaching and assisting couples and individuals be a better version of themselves. We're so much alike, men and women. If you really drill down, a lot of women don't like to apologize. A lot of men don't like to apologize. And it's not because they don't like to, Chester. It's because a lot of us have never seen it. We've never seen that behavior modeled in our childhood. We didn't see our moms or our dads apologize to each other openly after an argument. We'll just see the argument. And so that becomes normalized, right? Maybe there was a genuine apology, but unfortunately they didn't realize that, hey, if we argue in front of the kids, we should show our kids what that repair and reconciliation process looks like as well.
Yeah.
A lot of us didn't see that. So I'm not saying our parents didn't apologize. I'm just saying we didn't see it.
We didn't see that part of it.
Yeah. And it's not a part of our culture. I mean, how often do you see politicians, pastors, whatever, important people in the news and the media, how often do we see them openly apologize, admit making a mistake, and openly apologizing for that mistake? So it's not so much, Tessa, that we don't like to do it. It's just that it's just not something that's been ingrained in us culturally, upbringing. It's just many different factors, unfortunately.
Yeah. Wow.
But I don't think one gender is more guilty than the other on that one. I'll be honest with you, right? And then so you have relationships, you have a lot of standoffs. So people feel like I'm entitled to an apology because you did X, Y, and Z, right? They're not looking, like Laverne said it. How did they contribute, right? What could I have done differently to bring about a more positive outcome? They're just waiting on that apology or that acknowledgement that you hurt me. And the other person is like, well, you don't realize what you did to make me do that. So you need to acknowledge that and apologize for that voice. And then now you have stonewalling. You have two people existing in the same space with gigantic walls between them.
Yeah.
And that's a very bad situation to be in.
And then I'm sure you have like legitimate social issues that some people have that just don't allow for good relationships, narcissism, things that could be diagnosed.
I'm a believer like this. It's so interesting because I was at a conference maybe 6 weeks ago, and this expert on narcissism was actually on the panel, and I believe we all have a bit of narcissistic tendencies, Chester. So just some to a higher degree than others, but no, but you're right, and again, socially is just a combination of how we were brought up collectively, right? That's what social is, right? And culture, and then us repeating, saying, hey, yeah, I know this is how my parents was, this how this is how Bahamians are, this is how who so and so are, but you know what, I'm gonna choose to be different. And what is that different going to be based off of? You could there's a lot of literature out there. You can say I want to be a decent human being based off of the research and the science and behind it, and that's the path I'm going to follow. Like I think Laverne is somewhat on, she's on that path. Like she's at I love what I would love to have a client where Laverne is at. I could do some wonders with her because she's already started a lot of the work, right? She's decided that wasn't modeled. I highly doubt that was modeled to Laverne.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. So, she's made the decision to break the cycle, whether upbringing culturally, religiously, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Any final words for people on this as Morning Blend comes to a close?
No, man. It's just remember the importance of reaching out, right?
Yeah.
Like your car, there's certain things you don't have the skill set to do. And I help couples, I help individuals, I help couples just navigate a particular issue. It doesn't have to be like that the relationship is all broken. So you can reach out to me at walkingtogetherlc.com is the website, or you can reach out to Farah Life Coach on TikTok and also Instagram. But there's also some nice other trained professionals out there that you can reach to. The most important, reach out for help before it gets too late, right? Before it's too broken.
Awesome advice. certified life coach, Farrell Goff. Always a pleasure talking to you and Better You series. And we'll
Thank
see
you,
you next
Chester.
month.
Thank you, Laverne.
Have a good morning. That's Morning Blend for this morning. We've got Morning Blend Business coming up in just a bit. Stick with us.
Operator, it was like a bad dream. Lord, you should have heard the way he shouted and the way that I screamed. I regret it, 'cause I was unfair. I took it all out on him, just because he was there. When the road gets rough, you say things you should not say. I never meant to treat my daddy that way. I apologize. Believe me.
This April, Duncan is spreading awareness and support for autism awareness. Did you know that autism affects 1 in 54 children? It is so important to show our support, and you can show your support by grabbing a signature blue donut from any Duncan location during April. Join us in raising awareness and support for REACH and the Seahorse Institute. Duncan, fueling communities one blue donut at a time. The Bahamas runs on Duncan.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's, Clarkson, Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
What is this gonna be? Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Make this Mother's Day extra special with Kelly's House and Homes Mother's Day sale Friday, May 2nd through Saturday, May. Enjoy 20% off a beautiful selection of dinnerware, glassware, luggage, silk flowers, and picture frames, except on net items. These are all perfect and stylish gifts to show Mom just how much she's loved. Hurry in and take advantage of Kelly's House and Homes 20% off Mother's Day sale Friday, May 2nd through Saturday, May 10th. Happy Mother's Day, all with love from Kelly's House and Home.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. Hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio. I'm Chester Robards, along with Laverne Gardner, and we have some guests who are supposed to be coming in for the last half of this show. Until that time, Laverne.
It's just you and I.
It's just you
and all of our wonderful listeners.
Absolutely. They are wonderful. And people are texting in about the last segment with Farrell.
Okay.
Well, we can read this. Please note that we look at adults in our relationships and say this is the same person we met a few years back who said they know God and want to marry for life. Also know that all males and females are not mature enough for marriage or a relationship. They are children in adult bodies. Yeah, it's true in some cases, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, at my church, they absolutely insist on like the longest stretch of counseling before you get married.
That honestly, Chester, that is absolutely the way to go.
Yeah.
And recognize that at the end of the counseling, the advice may be you're not ready.
Yeah.
And don't take that as doing the counseling, hating, don't want to see you happy. They want to see you happy, but they recognize that either you or your soon to be spouse or both of you, there's some separate individual work that has to be done and some things that you need to resolve and begin to work on that will be detrimental to take into that next step of your relationship.
That's right.
I think the counseling honestly should start even before you propose. Like if you know that this is your person, this is the person that you want to commit to for ever, how long your ever is, and you two are already talking about the progress of your relationship, where you see this going, yeah, that we're all in. Start your counseling. If you haven't done any, start it then.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Start it from then, even before the proposal, because, realistically, and you get it, somebody proposes to you. The next step, of course, is the wedding. And then there is that pressure that even though your counselor may have said, hey, I think you guys need to step back, there's some more work that needs to be done. Your pride and the publicity, because everybody already saw the engagement photos and it was so beautiful. So we're waiting for the wedding. So you feel a pressure to continue. Listen, we still need to set a date. Whatever it is, we can just figure it out.
Yeah.
But you don't figure it out. And then you go in and it's like, how do I get out of this?
It's true.
I said kudos to your church.
Yeah. They're good people over there, especially when it comes to marriage. They're serious about marriage.
As we all should be.
Yeah.
And I would say to individuals, start. It's hard, and you may need to even if you think that I want to pursue a relationship, I'm interested in being in a relationship. Ask yourself, am I ready? And it's okay to go and see a counselor and talk to someone even prior to that, because we carry around some things that we think that we've gotten over, but it's already framed the way that we see everything, the way that we hear and receive things from people. It's already through the lens of whatever past you have. And those things may really impact your relationship in a very negative way.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with you going and saying, you know what? I want to talk about some things. I want to make sure that I'm in the right place, the head space, the emotional space, mental maturity to take on a relationship. And you may find that there's some work that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. As we're in the business section of Morning Blend as well, there's some stories in the business section of today's paper written by one Chester Robards.
Oh, who is that guy?
Who is that? I don't know who that guy is.
I don't know.
So it's great news. A group of Bahamians and some other folks from around the Caribbean held a trade expo and conference in Ghana. the 22nd and 23rd, so Wednesday and yesterday. And at the end of it all, they signed a memorandum of understanding with this African conglomerate group who's interested in facilitating trade between Ghana and the Caribbean. And I think that is a huge story.
Yes.
I think it's a huge win for the region. And if you look at what's happening in Africa right now, Africa is shaking itself up. It's taking its own stuff back.
Yes.
From foreign conglomerates themselves. You know, they're producing oil, they're producing gold, they're keeping their own stuff, and they're saying, look, enough of this imperialist stuff.
Yeah. Enough of us not being able to benefit from all of the resources that we are benefiting from. Enough of that. That's courageous.
Absolutely. And you know, they're saying, look, there's a diaspora right across the sea here that made its way over there under some terrible circumstances, and we're gonna embrace them, and we're gonna say, come back home, or at least let's have this relationship, and let's do business together.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
That's wonderful. It is exciting.
So go ahead.
It gets us from thinking outside, gets us out of this box that we think that we can only do certain things with certain people.
Right.
You know, there's a whole world out there. There are opportunities. There are things that are already, mechanisms that are already in place that we may not even be aware of. And I think because of everything that's happening with tariffs and this and that, now countries are saying there's another way.
Yeah.
And not only that, let's begin to make use of these other ways.
That's right.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it is too, like, one of the things I keep hearing from people who end up going to Africa, to different African countries, is they have always said, when I had these conversations, I had a different idea of what this would be like. Because people don't think Africans.
Yes.
And in some cases, we look like the undeveloped area. You know, when you look at cities and places around the Bahamas, we think we top notch. But I mean, you go over to some of these African countries, and you look like New York City.
Chester, a girlfriend and I, we had this conversation Easter Monday. We were just talking about, everything that's going on in the world, and and where we stand as a country, and the things that we could do. And we were talking about Africa and how what has been shown to us in the past, whether television or whatever, gives us an impression. And I'm not saying that there isn't some level of poverty, there are levels of poverty that, exist, yes. Yeah. But we've only seen, and I think that it's call me a conspiracy theorist, I think it's by design to give you an impression that is the entire continent.
Right.
When that is absolutely not the case. And it's like you say, there are places that are leaps and bounds ahead of us. They are doing big business, and we need to really see how we can connect.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to see that that the Caribbean is embracing this relationship. I was fortunate enough to be in Barbados when the Afri-Exim Bank broke ground on a trade center they're opening there. And just to see the amount of money alone that they spent on the groundbreaking ceremony, it was beautifully set up. It was a lovely location in Barbados, and they are as excited to work with the Caribbean as I'm sure the Caribbean is excited to learn how they can benefit from trade with Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be a wonderful thing. But what I really loved were at the conference. So Senator Barry Griffin, who is the chief trade negotiator and chairman of the Bahamas Trade Commission, he spoke at the conference and expo, and just the kind of language that was being used was just this. We're brothers, we're sisters. We were split apart, not by our own doing.
Right.
It's time for us to come back together for each other, trade in good faith, and all of this good stuff. And most of the language I seen from those speakers was kind of along that line, right?
The same way, yeah.
Even in Barbados.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Even when Mia Motley, when she gave her address during the groundbreaking, it was the same thing. It was we live across from each other. Like, we're the closest to each other. Because when you think about where Africa, or the most western side of Africa is compared to the Caribbean, it's close. It's not that far. And that language is kind of, you get to understand the thinking behind this kind of back to Africa movement. It's not quite trying to take people back, but opening these trade routes.
Right, but opening these routes that we didn't know existed, or if we did, we didn't think of.
Right.
But now we recognize that there opportunities abound, and we have to really begin to make the most of those opportunities, make those connections, travel, investigate, be a part of what's happening, because it's going to be to our benefit. The normal route that we were taking is changing, and we may find that making these new partnerships will be more beneficial to us than we thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to read a piece of Barry Griffin's speech here, and he said during his speech, Africa and the Caribbean are connected by blood, by history, by culture, and now by opportunity. Centuries ago, our ancestors were torn from this continent and scattered across the Atlantic, but they carried with them strength, resilience, and a culture so vibrant that it thrived even in the face of unspeakable hardship. That spirit is alive in Bahamian Jonkanu, in Jamaican reggae, in Haitian art, in Trinidadian carnival. It is alive in the language, rhythm, and fire of our people. It is with this deep-rooted cultural and historical bond that we must now forge a new and modern relationship built on trade, investment, technology, and mutual growth. As the African Union officially recognizes the Caribbean as its sixth region, let us take that declaration and breathe life into it through concrete economic partnership. That speaks a lot there.
Yeah.
And
that was well said, beautifully written. Kudos to the speechwriter.
Yeah, absolutely. And where this opportunity is going to take us, forge a deeper relationship with where many of our backgrounds come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to a quick break, and we'll get into our next segment with the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, talking about some interesting stuff. We'll be right back.
Oh Lord, I'll be back. Wow, what is this you dealing with, boy? Hey, you now go, what's happened? Listen, let me tell you what happened. Look here, go like this. Children, you ready? Jack and Jill went up the hill. Oh, they say they was going for water. Say what? Foolish Jill, forget her pill. And now they got a son and a daughter. They blame it on the water.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
022361. Get ready for the pre-Mother's Day sale at Conant Bahamas, April 16th to May 16th. 35% off everything in the store except the AC units. Enhance your home with beautiful new cabinetry, granite or quartz countertops, PVC and hurricane impact windows, beautiful porcelain tiles, vinyl or laminate flooring. It's a 35% off pre-Mother's Day sale at Conant Bahamas. All locations, Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Pinder is carrying a new line of tile, the Sky series of porcelain. Comes in 4 colors: Sky Noir, Sky Azure, Sky Gris, and this one, Sky Glance. In this particular tile, I think you'll find coin gray, silver gray, cloud gray, and gray. All of these are seamlessly blended to make the Sky Glance one beautiful tile. The Sky series of porcelain comes in 2 formats, 24 by 24 at $5.30 a square foot and 12 by 24 at $5.25 a square foot.
You work hard for your money, so let your money work hard for you. With as little as $1,000 to start, you can watch your money grow by investing in CFAL's Bahamian dollar and US dollar mutual funds, each tailored to match your unique investment profile. Our expert advisors are dedicated to crafting personalized investment strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. Don't miss out on the chance to earn higher returns on your hard-earned money. Join the thousands of investors who trust CFAL and start your journey toward financial freedom today. Visit us at cfal.com to learn more about our saving and investment options. And let us help you build wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Strum, and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Chester Robards, along with Laverne Gardner. And we are talking with the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants. They're having a conference coming up, Building a Successful Business, something I'm sure lots of people will be interested in. Ask yourselves, so we can start here.
Hello, good morning. I'm Cheryl Moxie. I'm the Executive Director at the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants.
Okay.
Good morning, Felicia Bazard, and I sit on the board for BICA as the secretary.
Good morning, everyone. Lordia Augustin. I am a BICA member and a member of the SME committee.
Okay. Excellent. So let's start
Good
with
morning.
what BICA is. That's Laverne you can hear in the headphones. Let's start with what BICA is, people who don't know.
All right. Well, Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, better known as BICA, we are the regulators of the accounting profession in the Bahamas. BICA has been established, it was incorporated in 1971, and in fact, this year we celebrate our 54th year. Basically, BICA encourages people who have the ability for accounting to qualify as a professional accountant through an international body, and then they apply for license membership in BICA, and then they can offer their services throughout the Bahamas, the world, to help entrepreneurs, businesses do better in what they do, keep their accounting records.
So if you're a certified accountant in the Bahamas, you're with BICA. Understood. So tell us about the conference is coming up. We know it's about entrepreneurs, and you say building a successful business in the SME space. So for people who don't know, what's an SME?
Sure. So just stepping back a bit, we have a committee in BICA called SMP. That's small to medium-sized practitioners. And so those accountants focus on the SME space, which is the small and medium-sized enterprises. So what we have done, I'm the chair of the SMP committee. What we brainstormed and said, what we see is businesses needing assistance, not sure how to manage regulations, not sure how to ensure that they have proper books and records and deal with crisis, etc. So we said in the SMP committee that we'll organize this conference. And that's what we set out to do for May 15th. We have a great agenda, which Lordia will speak to. But it's really an investment for businesses, young entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their businesses up. So if you want to learn about ensuring that your business keeps proper books and records and is compliant with DIR and NIB, etc., this is a conference for you. It's a very small investment, an entire day that you dedicate towards scaling your business up. This is April, and by December, you'll have a brand new business, we believe, just attending the conference and implementing those things that we speak about during the conference.
Wow,
it's huge.
You believe that an attendee can bring himself together after this conference and say, I got it. I can put this together now.
With the agenda, absolutely.
Wow. And I see you can attend virtually as well.
Yes.
And I noticed that there's maybe a segment on AI.
Yes.
Using AI.
Yeah.
So even the technology side of it. Tell us about it.
Okay, so like Fee would have said, this is the first conference. This is the inaugural conference.
Yes.
And so we've rolled the red carpet. We have everything covered. We have various sessions beginning with, we have representatives coming in from the Department of Inland Revenue, National Insurance Board, and we also have a lawyer coming in, Mr. Edgar O. Moxie. And this session would speak to compliance, whether it's VAT compliance, business license, NIB compliance, as well as their business structure, because a lot of businesses don't know which structure they are in. We also have, as you would have mentioned, AI workflow in your business, right? We cannot miss out on AI because AI is taking the world by storm.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have AI implemented in your business, you're going to be left behind. And so we are covering that in this session, AI workflow in your business. For the small and medium-sized practitioners, we also have a session where we talk about the requirements of being a practitioner in the Bahamas. As Cheryl would have mentioned, we do hope that all accountants or persons who call themselves practitioners. We have sessions as well on cybersecurity. We have a panel discussion which would be open for questions and answers. And so small and medium-sized enterprises or business owners who are there can ask their questions. We'll be talking about succession planning, right? We'll be talking about cybersecurity, fraud in your business. And so it's bound to be a great event. When we speak to price, The price right now up to April 30th is $270. Up to April 30th, you're discounted at $270. Beginning May 1, the cost is $300.
Right.
And for biker members, everybody gets a certificate. It's 7.5 CPD hours. We have a virtual as well, $165, right? Booths will also be available to business owners who want to showcase their products, showcase their services. From now until April 30th, for biker members, booths are at $110. Come on, there's nowhere you can get a booth for $110 anywhere.
Right.
For non-biker members, the booths are $176. Beginning May 1, the booths would be for $220.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot. And
it's a lot.
And it's a full day.
A full day.
Yeah. From 80 to get all that good stuff you mentioned into our brains in like one day, right? But this is good stuff. Now, obviously, as you kind of mentioned, you saw a need for this. What are you seeing out there with small businesses? Where are they kind of failing fast?
Sure. So small businesses, business owners want to do better. They're crying out for guidance, for help to take their business, scale their business up. And so based on us being in the field, us meaning the small to medium-sized practitioners, we said, you know what? This is our chance to come together as professionals and help small and medium-sized businesses really structure, because we're the lifeblood of the Bahamas. We're the ones who, small businesses that is, who employ, make sure that funds are circulated, all of that stuff. So definitely, if you're not organized well as a small business, you don't, first of all, you don't know your proper business structure, whether you're a sole trader or you're a company or you're a partnership, whatever it is. You're not sure how you're registered, whether you have the right business license or you renewed your business license. Well, it can get tricky. And before you know it, the system can trick you up. So why not understand the system that you're faced with? Ensure it's one thing to have a professional guiding you, that's very important, but it's also good to know these things yourself so you can ask the right questions, get the right help. And so that's what we're trying to do in just one day. Of course, you also get to meet the great professionals of BICA, right, and even hear from the regulators that if you're not satisfied or you were harmed in any way, who to complain to. So that's what we're striving to do, Chester.
Why is it important to know what kind of business? Is it sole proprietorship, this or that? Why is that important? I guess some people don't even know if they should be a CEO or president or a chairman of their company.
Well, Laudia actually alluded to it. Succession planning is a big thing, right? So if you're in a sole trader, as an example, I'm not a legal practitioner, but I know a thing or two, right? If you're in a sole trader and you unfortunately pass today, then your business automatically dies with you. Right? Versus if you had a company, a limited liability company, for example, that has a life of its own. All right? So it's all about what your needs are, making sure that your business is properly set up from a front to back perspective, from the moment you're established, making sure you are compliant with regulation, and making sure that you have the right checks and balances in place to ensure that, from the funds come into your business, they get into the bank account, they're working for you, you're in the right investments, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's excellent. So kind of run us through how the day is going to work. Is there like a keynote address in the morning, and then you start panels, and is it mostly like panel discussions? How does that work?
Okay, the day starts out with networking. We have a brief networking session. So maybe that'll be over some coffee, some tea. Afterwards, we would have ministers or representatives from different Ministry of Finance coming in. We have persons coming giving an address. And right after that, we jump into our session, which I would have mentioned before. We talk about compliance, which is very big for businesses. As Fee would have mentioned, if you do not know the structure of your business, maybe you're paying the government more money than you should be paying, right? And then we jump into AI. We have Marlika Brister, with EFS coming in. Her business is EFS coming in from Freeport, who would be speaking on AI workflow in your business. That's a session I'm really interested in. Right after we jump into, I would be speaking to, I'm fairly new in the SMP space, but I would be covering, what did I have to go through to become a small and medium-sized practitioner in the Bahamas. So we have that session there. And then we jump into, we would also have providers. For example, someone from a company called the Payroll App. We have providers who would be in as well, who would be pitching their business to small business owners who may need payroll services or various services, who can purchase those services from them as well.
Right.
And like I would have said, we have the panel discussion. Also have a practitioner who will be there who's speaking on the financial statements. We have a lot of
gorilla in the room.
Yes, the financial statements, because we have a lot of business owners, right? We may have financial reports simply for regulatory purposes, whether it's for VAT filing. We just need to know what's our inputs, our outputs, what's the VAT, right? To be paid to the government, or whether I get a credit.
Right.
And then we have others who just simply do it for business license, right?
Right.
Filing. However, we have a practitioner in by the name of Nathan Cates who would be speaking to the financials. We're speaking on the balance sheet, tying out the balance sheet to your statement of cash flows. What are you supposed to be looking at? We're speaking to the profit and loss statement. What are you supposed to be looking at? When your accountant or your bookkeeper is speaking to you on the numbers, they can't take you for a run, right? For a spin. You understand what's happening.
Right.
And so, yeah. That's what we're covering. That's how the day would go. And then at the end of the day, we'd have our BICA president who would give his closing remarks.
Wow. That's a lot. That's
It's
important.
a lot, but I don't think anyone would be too overwhelmed, because we do have breaks in between.
No, it all sounds like great information.
And not only that, but it's not going to be over our heads. We're not going to get too technical, all right?
That's important.
So, exactly. So, just understanding what is the bottom line. Like, really, when you look at your P&L, what does that net profit portion really mean? And how does it, because sometimes you can see a big net profit and $10 in your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that you have $40,000 in your bottom line, your net profit, but only $10 in the bank account?
Right.
That can mean several things. One thing that it can mean is that you have a cash flow pinch, meaning that you're not collecting your receivables in time, so it's not hitting your bank account, so you're wondering what's going on. It's good if you see a good number there. So what does that mean? And Nathan is going to take us through that, right? So in a or semi-technical way, so you get it.
Yeah.
We're not expecting that you're an expert at the end of the day. What we're expecting is that you have a good appreciation for the numbers in front of you and the things that you need to put in place to get your business rejuvenated, and not just running on the hamster wheel every day in, day out, and you're not sure what's going on. All right. And it gives you an opportunity as well to find a qualified accountant in the SMP space who can help you, because we have a lot of qualified people, but we just sometimes don't know where to find them, right? So all of us will be there in the space. Some of us will have booths, so you can walk around and interview and have your take. So we're basically providing that platform for businesses to take their business to another level, simple and plain.
I mean, one room full of people who could tell you how to fix your business.
What you need to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's important and amazing. But BICA does this on a regular basis. I mean, not just during these conference sessions, but you guys
Well, day to
help out.
day, yeah, we, a lot of people do have accountants as their service provider to guide them through. But the thing is that sometimes they're the larger businesses within the economy. It's really for the small man to get to know what he really needs to do, and to liaise, to meet and find out about trying to grow that business, And I think the important thing is understanding the financial statements, because as Fee would have said, you have a number, but what does that mean? How do you improve? How do you make adjustments? And so by going through the numbers in your financial statements and understanding, I think that one will definitely be a great session to participate in for a small business person, because there's no point in generating numbers if they don't mean anything to you.
And to Chester's point, BICA, of course, has several conferences over the many years, all right? So what is different with this one? This one is being organized by the small and medium-sized practitioner arm of BICA.
Right.
So you would hear the BICA conference, especially Accountants Week, where we meet at Bahama or wherever and have a grand time among ourselves.
Yeah.
We're actually opening it up.
Right.
And we are directly speaking to the small, which I term the big men. We like to say the small men, but these are the big men, the big small men, right? And women, right? I'm feminist, sorry. But we have to, we're speaking directly to those persons. The vendors, who are we speaking to? Vendors. If you have a business that is registered, or you need to get it registered.
Yes.
We're speaking to you because this is the way. After this conference, we expect you to say, well, look, I have a lot of homework to do. I need to do X, I need to do Y, I need to do Z, and here is how I'm going to do it. And these are the steps that I'm going to take. So we're not saying automatically things change, but it will. It's intended to turn the light switch on, so you can see the light as to what you need to do, so that your business is not just getting by, it's thriving, and it's pushing you, and it's creating generational wealth, right? The real generational wealth that we should be creating for our families, the way other persons do it and other jurisdictions do it. So we want to make sure we solidify our businesses and educate our business people, and even those who are thinking about establishing a business, as to what they need to do, how they need to do it, give you that roadmap, and also whet your appetite for more.
Yeah. And I can't help but think about the people on the Family Islands who really need this kind of structure.
Exactly.
And who can, again, log on virtually
yes.
and be a part of this. So that's great.
And we're reaching out to the various chambers in the various islands because this is something we need, Chester.
Yeah.
Let's stop talking about what the government needs to do and who else needs. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's put pen to paper. Let's put brain to action. Yeah?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us again how people can get involved, like what they need to do to register.
Okay, for registration, you can go on bica.bs to register.
So that's BICA.BS.
You can send an email to info@bica.bs. And for members, you can just go on the BICA website, or you can just go on
bicaevents.org.
Yes, www.bicaevents.org. And you'll see the link there. Just click the link, register, pay, and you're in.
And the telephone number, please?
Telephone number, cannot forget that.
326-6619. But also, too, I'm going to say that a lot of the social media platforms where BICA is connected, you just go there, you'll see the flyer, and you can click on, and all the information is right there, too, where you could look at, you can see the agenda, and know that this is something that you want to be a part of.
Right. And again, you can get your hours.
Definitely.
CPD hours.
7.5.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means, but 7.5.
7.5.
The members will know. The members will know also. But that's 326-6619.
Yeah.
And Chester, small and medium-sized businesses who are or individuals who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. This is not a prosperity spin around conference. This is a real. Here is what I need to do to get my business from point A to point B.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, I see some of the speed networking sessions.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
It is. And that's what Lordia alluded to at the beginning. So that at 8 o'clock, all the persons with various booths, you can go there and see what they have to offer. And it's not what you can also get a booth if you choose to, right? So if you're selling whatever, you're doing a radio station, we encourage you to get a booth. Tell us what you do, how we can promote our businesses, etc. Whatever business you have, secure your booth. Get someone to man it while you're inside, and let's make this happen, Chester.
Yeah, no, this is happening at Margaritaville
on the 15th of March. March 15th. May. Wow, May. Wow, I'm in the past. The 15th of May, 2025, beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning.
So really just a couple days away.
Just
about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2
yes.
weeks. Yeah.
Yes.
So you got to get going. Is there a cutoff time for the people who might want booths?
Well, it's everything closes a week before. Week before. And as Lordia said, we have a special running until the end of April. So you want to register before that deadline so you can take all the benefits you can. Get your booth ticket. To go to Margarita, there's limited space, as we can see. Some people call it the Jam Up Hotel, right? So we need to secure our spots right away so those don't close up on us.
Right, and don't let the investment keep growing. Do it today.
Do it today.
Because
See, I was in March already, so we need to do it like yesterday.
I always love when you call it an investment, but it is.
It is an investment.
It is an investment.
It is. You know.
And a great return. You'll get a great return on that investment.
Yeah, absolutely. We got about a minute left, so just give us an overview quickly, and then when and where and how people can get involved.
Sure. So it's grow your business, establish a great business. We're looking to have you and host you on May 15th, beginning at 8 o'clock. We can get you registered today. You can call 326-6619. You can visit us at www.bica.bs, or you can find us on any social media. Register today. We look forward to seeing you with your booth established and set up, and we can't wait to have you there.
Excellent. If you register today, you can still get your 10% discount.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. Ladies, thank you so much for that great information.
Thank you for having us.
And all the best at the conference when it comes up. I'm sure I'll be there. Since I
do it.
Yes.
To cover it.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Take care.
That's Morning Blend Business for today. Thank you for joining us. And you have a good day today. On the Clock with Aaron Green. That's up next. Have a great day. God bless. And take care of each other.
God bless.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's a hit. Don't hit me that too good.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.